Hello guys, and welcome to a new episode. Today we're going to be looking at a parking sensor fault on an Audi A6 on the C6 chassis. Now the particular model we're looking at today is actually the Avant version, although this will apply to the saloon version as well, with maybe small variants of the location of one of the parts. Now this particular fault is actually related to one of the park sensor chimes or buzzers, however you want to call it. Now the best way to identify this fault is actually using diagnostics to find out exactly which chime is actually at fault. But there are other ways you can potentially find out which one is actually at fault. Now if you put your ignition on and you activate your park sensors, you'll get a fault similar to this. And this light will be flashing down here. Now it doesn't matter if you have the reverse cameras or not, and you only have the park sensors, it would be exactly the same. If I try and show you here, see it shows up, none of the park sensors are actually working, and it just makes that beeping noise and flashes the light. Now this particular fault on this car, the beeping is only coming from the rear. I can hear no beeping coming from the front. That means on this particular fault, it's the front chime that's failed. Now, if it's the rear chime failed, you'll hear the beep coming from the front chime, but nothing coming from the rear chime. But like I said before, the best way to identify it is actually with diagnostics that will show a fault similar to what I'm showing you on screen right now. Now, in a lot of cases, people would assume that this is actually a park sensor on the outside of the vehicle that's failed. But if it's one of them, you would usually get a park sensor showing that there's something there all the time, even when there's not. And it would normally show up on, either the rear or the front somewhere, that one of these sensors are lit up permanently. There's an object there when there's not. So this particular fault is likely related to one of the chimes failed, either the front or the rear. And all the tools you're going to need, I will leave down in the description. So let's crack on. I'll show you where they are and how to get to them and how to change them. So for the front park chime, first thing you want to do is actually move your driver's seat out the way, because the chime is actually underneath the footwell, just under there. So the first thing you want to do is actually remove this panel just here to access one of the 8mm bolts behind there. So I'll use my little plastic jimmy bar to get this out. As you can see, it comes off pretty easy. Just pops off. It's just clipped. If I show you on there, it's just clipped. A couple of clips around it. So your first bolt is actually just here, this 8mm bolt just here. So if we go ahead and remove that, once you've taken that bolt out, we can then move underneath to take the other two bolts out, which are just underneath here, underneath the footwell. So if we look just under here, you'll see you have one bolt just here and another one just over there. So you take these two 8mm bolts out. Now in my opinion, these bolts are excessively long really for what they are. But anyway, once you've taken those two bolts out, you then want to go ahead and just on the side here, if you pull it downwards, you'll see, I'll move the light just up here, you will see it's just clipped in all the way along there, and it's the same on the other side just over here. So you just want to get your hand behind there and just give it a bit of force, it will pop off, and that will actually allow you to drop the whole panel down and just leave it out of the way just like that. Now just over here on the left, you'll notice the chime. Now if it was your front chime that's failed, then obviously this is the one you want to go ahead and change. Now this is where you want to take your T25 Torx bit, and all you need to do is actually undo the two little plastic like screw type things. Try to get in there as close as I can to try and show you. It's like two little plastic like Torx type screws. Now you've got to gently unscrew these. In fact, I'll just do this by hand, it's probably easier because they're not tight. You unscrew them most of the way out, and then you just pop the clips out, because they're actually clips. If you see that, you can just see that unscrewing just there. Now it'll only unscrew so far, as you can see, and that will allow you to pull the clip out. There you go. And all it is a little 2-part clip, just like that. See, that piece actually screws inside that just to hold the clip open. So once that's unscrewed, you can just pop both of them out. So let's just get the second one, which is actually, I'm over the light slightly. Just on the bottom part of it, just there. You'll see it once you're under there. So let's unscrew that one. See, this one's actually unscrewed a bit further, so we pull that out. There you go. This one came out as a hole, unlike the other one. To that will then allow you to remove your chime. Now the plug is literally just pushed in, so if you just pop that out, there you go. It's just a little 2-prong plug, just goes in there. So then you can take your new chime, which I will link down in the description for a new one as well, so you can get the correct part for this particular vehicle. Once you're ready to put your new chime in, what you want to do is take this part of the clip, pop it through the hole, and then pop that back into its mounting position. Now, if you do that with the both of them, just pop this one in there as well. There you go. Pop those in like that, and then you can take the screw type part of it and then just pop that in into the hole and just push. That just pops in, which then just locks the clip into position. There you go. And then when you can go ahead and just plug that chime back in just like that until it clicks, like that. And that's it, that's your new chime fitted. You can then go ahead and actually put this under tray back on, which is actually relatively easy. You just got to make sure that the rear part of this sits on the top of the footrest type thing. That sits on top of that. So let's go ahead and put this back in. There we go. So you get that leveled up, you can see under there, that's the position it goes in all the way to the back there. And at the front here, just pop the clips back in by pushing it. Same on this side, pop the clips back in, and then you can go ahead and pop your 2 screws back in, or 2 8mm bolts back in underneath here. You just got to make sure you line the holes up, which shouldn't be too difficult. You just got to make sure you push this plastic piece all the way like up, and that should line the holes up pretty well. And you can go ahead and actually put your side bolt back in. Just line the hole up again. There you go. Oh yeah, and also remember to just put your side cover back on as well, which just clips on in this orientation, so your hole lines up to the vent obviously at the top there. It slides in the back end first, and then you just line all your clips up just like so, and then it pops in just like that, and that's clipped in. As long as you slot the back edge in first, that will clip in nicely. So that's the front chime done. Let's move to the rear one. Now, with this being the Avant version, you're going to want to take your parcel shelf out of the vehicle completely to gain access. So let's just fold that up, and you just got a little clip just over here which just pops that out. Remove that from the vehicle altogether, and then if you come round to the interior of the vehicle, you then want to actually pop both of the seats down. You then want to go ahead and remove your like netting if you have one, which is actually just a little clip just over here. Press that, lift that out, move that out of the way, and there is a little, just in there, there's a little bolt in the bottom there. You're going to want to take your T20 Torx and remove that bolt. So yeah, just move that bolt just out of the way, and then just below it, where you actually unclip the netting from, you have this rubber part just around the outside of where it locked onto. You want to try and remove that if you can. It just slides over just like that. That's that out the way. Then let's move his seatbelt out the way while it's twisted around. Then this plastic trim here is clipped in just along here. Now you got to try and unclip that by pulling it this sort of direction. Now it's going to be hard to move this piece of plastic out of the way because it's actually connected to this part all the way along here, which is actually going to be not so simple to take out. So you don't really need to take that out. If you unclip it from just here and pull this way, that will give you access behind it to where the rear chime is actually located. So let's go ahead and remove those clips out of there. There we go, see how easy that came out? That's why you took the rubber off just down there, because that's going to slide over that, just like that. So there we go, move that out. And now that will give me some space around the back there, because behind there is actually like a little rubber sort of protective thing. I don't know if you can see that under there. Right, you lift that up, lift it up like so, just out the way, and then so there you go, you can see the chime there. Now this is actually just slotted into this clip here, and the one on the other side just there is clipped in, but you might find it'd be easy if you get a little screwdriver behind there and pull it upwards. It will eventually pop out, though it's quite difficult to get in there because there's not a huge amount of space. But yeah, we go ahead there and just get your fingers underneath it. There we go, you see that actually just popped out. There you go. And it's the same again as with the front one. You just pull this little plug out, fit your new chime into there, and then you got to kind of feel for where those clips were. Right back in there, feel for where the clips were and just pop it back in. There we go, you heard that as a firm clip just then. Now that's definitely back in as it should be. Once that's replaced, you can then go and clip your plastic trim back into place. Now if you look at the edge here, you can see you've got a clip there and like a little alignment part just there, and that just, if I just pop this back over, also remember to put your rubber trim back down and lay it back where it came from. There we go, that's all laid back down in there, as you can see nicely. So then you can just go ahead and line this plastic back up just in there and line those clips up. It can be a bit fiddly, to be honest. There you go, they are lined up and it's clipped in. There you go, that's nicely clipped back in. And then you can go ahead and put your T20 Torx back in, and don't forget to put your rubber seal back on around here. So once you've fitted your replacement chime, you can then go ahead and test your park sensors again, and there you go, you'll probably find it's going to be working with no issues whatsoever. Now if you don't have a camera, you'll probably get a view more like this, but this screen is obviously activated by the reverse, as well, as you most likely already know. But there you go, problem solved. If this video has helped you out in any way, please don't forget to click the like and subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified each time I upload. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And until next time guys, take care.